Shorting all-time highs is never an easy task. Today, we had an example on stream where it worked out pretty well. I'm going to show you exactly what we were looking at on the charts. Over here, you can see my short entry up here and my exit down here. And now this is up $331 on my top one futures account. We're going to hop over onto TradingView and I'm going to break down the exact levels I was looking at. So it's no secret that in fact, let me make sure that everybody can see what we're talking about. It's no secret that we did gap up yesterday and we traded a little bit above and then sold off, held the bottom of the gap, rallied after hours / at the end of the day yesterday. Overnight, we open up really high. Whenever there's an overnight move like this, it's very strange to expect more upside. There's just a natural ebb and flow to things. So if markets get too extended to one side, it kind of gives you that rubber band effect where maybe this breakout right here is actually going to be primed to fail. That's the premise that we walked into today with. This ended up being a great short opportunity. We caught it on the top one futures account, caught it on my live account, and this is the exact levels I was looking at. So when you have equal highs or higher highs, just these sequential highs right here, right? That's kind of vulnerable to me. I want to see markets not necessarily struggle to get above a certain point. So when I see that, it tells me that something's happening here. And when we go ahead and trade above that on the open, sure, there was a bigger candle, right? You have an ignition candle, you have this deep wick and a smaller fair value gap or whatever. To me, it just didn't feel all that impressive. Now, I started to notice a bit of a rounding over. We had this fair value gap right here, and that was the level I actually went with. So I went ahead and I pulled out my drawing tool, and you can see this if you go ahead and watch the stream. You could go watch the recording. It's up on my channel. You can see that this is a gap right here. So I didn't enter on this candle. I entered basically like right here, like 624. So a little bit after it, I was kind of looking at this one as well right here. And ultimately, I wanted to see it just get under here with some sort of aggression. Now, my target was about $600, right? It was down here. And we didn't quite get it on the move. We were a couple dollars short. And I essentially trailed out like right there above that swing point, that little candle right here. So I trailed out right there. I could have held, obviously, I could have my stop above VWAP, could have my stop above the fair value gap, could have been break even. However, I just wanted to lock in at least something. And that was a rule-based management system that I went ahead and deployed. And I think it gave me the best outcome in the worst possible scenario, right? Like it could have been worse. Obviously, I could have went break even. So I'd rather walk away with at least half of what I was aiming for. Still puts me up about 2R, 1.8R, or something like that. And we can see that the rest of it is still moving. I still have a bit of a short on from my other account. So moving on, you can see this is the TradeZella right here. We have a short entry right here, exit right there. Not too bad. I'd say the efficiency is pretty good. I'd say the exit efficiency is pretty good. I'm sure you could go ahead and pull up running P&L curve. You could see, yes, we did have a higher peak of about 500 and we closed about 330. So I could have been a little bit more efficient on the exit, exited into the strength, maybe partialed out some here. However, I just was thinking maybe one more candle to get me to my target. It was only 8 points. So you win some, you lose some. Today, we kind of tied on it, right? It's a bit of a calculated move there, if you will. So going on to what else we want to look at for the day. This is the type of move that, I mean, they happen, right? These big moves happen. Why does a move like this need to occur? To put it simply, look at what we've been doing on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, we've been just grinding higher since July started. Summer trading, just grind higher into the abyss, right? What are we looking at on the lower time frames? Let's just say like the hourly, for instance. You can see that there's just all higher highs, higher lows. It's a bullish trend ever since this 22,800 level. 22,800 is really where we started to see this shift in character, where it's just climbing, never really sweeping the last significant low. Like sometimes you maybe get it, but there's just a lot of untapped potential. There's a lot of liquidity resting. Anybody swinging any sort of positions, they're in the green very clearly. So what I'm starting to consider when we approach these highs, maybe it was up here. I thought maybe we'd gap down and do it overnight. Instead, we rallied, pushed it one more time, and now we have that top. I'm looking to see whether or not we can begin to trade lower towards, let's just say the 300s, maybe down here towards the 100s, right? I'm starting to identify what swing points are likely for us to at least test, like to say the least. So number one, our first stop is prior day low. I think that goes without saying. And then from there, it's just beginning to see where do we want to go. Now, don't be alarmed, but we do have some big data this week. We have FOMC coming up in a couple days. We had Jolts today. We have some PPI, some other nonsense, right? All this data, all these releases, all they do is serve volatility to the market, and that is opportunity for us to either capitalize or allow something to get shaken out. That's how I'm looking at this upcoming week. You should be considering the economic calendar any single time. And anytime you sit it down on your desk, you should be looking at what's on the news, what's on the economic calendar, what earnings are coming up. All these things are going to weigh very heavily on how the index, which is a group of stocks, is going to move. That's as simple as it could be. So with this type of trade, really like what I saw here on the 15-minute. I think this was a beautiful example. You have the sweep right here, strong, strong move. You have these bullish candles that immediately get deleted. That's a change in state in my book. That's a reversal pattern. This is your turtle soup. This is your spring upthrust, whatever you want to call it. It's going down. That's how I see it. This fair value gap right here, this is what I would consider a contextual gap, right? It's in some sort of narrative. We have a move that's occurring based on a reversal here. That's it. That's it. So this is a gap that matters to me. This fair value gap right here or whatever, those don't really matter. These, on the other hand, as well, now became that inverse. So it took a minute to work through there. As you can see, a lot of wicks in this area where it ran. There's a lot of wicks on the backside. Now we should be pretty clear skies to move lower. I think at least this level, because it has not been tested and it got pretty darn close. But realistically, we should probably trade towards the 300s. If not today, tomorrow, or the day after. I think lower is better, even if you are bullish. In my book, there are some things that are beneficial to both sides, and obviously lower prices in one scenario, right? But put it this way. This is what I brought up on stream. When you see something that's very much just running like this, it's priming it to do the opposite in the future. So if you go back a little bit in time, you can see in February, we had this very monotonous downtrend, right? No sweeps of the previous highs. It's all just flat. You get maybe a little one, but it's just very flat. It doesn't want to sweep. And now we're getting a bit of the opposite. You get some stuff, right? You get all these. The sweep is good. That's what ignited this move. And if you can see, it's just a lot of up, a lot of up. So all this grindy action, when it gets dug back into, it wipes out a lot of weak longs and it allows for a better long entry for you in the future. Now, these are some key principles that I deploy and I consider, but it's also something important to understand about how we think about price. Just because something has to dig deeper doesn't mean that I need to rush the reversal. That's something that I think I have a harder time with because these are rarer conditions, I would say. It's less common for markets to just move super one-sided. So when we do shift from, we go ahead and look at the 4-hour, I'll give you a really clear example. I'd say right here is even more two-sided, right? So we get all this. It's from just ahead of July. It's very back and forth. It's up, sure, but there's sweeps on the downside. But once we start getting to this, you had maybe one right here. And you would think just a little bit. Like you have a tiny one here, sure, but none of this, none of that at all. So that's where it gets really challenging. So what I would recommend doing is honestly just adapting to the situation where you understand that markets can be out of balance. And that's what you would consider this. This is out of balance. It's a slow, steady, low VIX grind higher. I want to go ahead and check out VIX. We can see that VIX is, pretty crushed. VIX is gone. So back from our peak over here, we are now at like nothing. So when you have low VIX environments like we are in right now, markets can kind of just persist higher until you get a real clear structural point of reference like this. That's what sets up these prime opportunities for a low resistance run. The moves down are going to be aggressive because there's so much to reach for on the downside. And the moves higher are just grinding because there hasn't been any sort of force to facilitate a bigger move. So hopefully you're learning something from these videos. Hey, let me ask, if you're enjoying these videos, leave a like. It really helps YouTube's algorithm from what I've been told. And if you like the video, chances are you leaving a like will help other people who like the video find the video. Last but not least, Top One Futures and a summer sale. Check them out. They're doing a 55% off deal. Massive discount on any instant funded SimPro accounts. Anything you want, code DTA will get you the best discount possible. And until next time, we'll talk soon. Take care.